If you're a hairstylist trying to build your clientele, there's something I really want to say clearly because I have spent a lot of time thinking about this, studying this, and living this. There's a lot of good information out there about how to build a clientele. There are people teaching referrals, there are people teaching Instagram, they're teaching networking, rebooking systems, promotions, ads, personal branding, funnels, client experience, and all kinds of marketing strategies. And a lot of it's good. A lot of it works. And I'm not here to say that those people are wrong because they're not wrong. The problem is not that those methods are bad. The problem is that most hairstylists and service providers are being taught tactics before they have fixed their foundation. And if your foundation is broken, everything you do on top of it becomes so much harder. And that is a part I really want you to hear. I've been in this industry for 33 years and I have built and rebuilt my clientele more than once. I've done the referrals, I've done the networking, I've done the in-person relationship building, I have done Instagram and paid attention to the funnels, and I have looked at what other educators are teaching, and I have paid attention to what agencies do. I have watched what works, watched what takes forever, and what burns people out, and what actually creates a steady stream of new clients. So, when I say this, I am not speaking from theory. I am speaking from years and years of experience, years behind the chair, and years of watching what really moves the needle and what just creates more work. And here's what I believe. If you're an independent beauty professional and you're trying to build your clientele, this is where you start. You want to start with your foundation. You start with your Google business profile. You start with your presence across the internet. You start with making sure that when someone searches for the services that you offer, your business has the ability to show up. Because when this piece is broken, everything else becomes so much harder and it becomes so much more work. And a lot of stylists are being told to post more, market more, create more content, do more reels, be more visible, learn funnels, run ads, create lead magnets, follow up more, network. And all these things are good. All these things are amazing. And, it really depends on what your goals are for your business or how big your business is, right? So, but there's an order. There's an order for how you do things. And all businesses, there's an order. So you don't want to put the cart before the horse. And also, all of these things that I was just talking about, they take a lot of time and they take a lot of work. So if you're a solo hairstylist, an independent stylist, a suite owner, or a beauty professional trying to build your business, you need to ask a more important question before you start stacking all of those things. You need to ask yourself this: am I showing up where people search for the service I offer? Because if the answer is no, that's where you start. Not over there, not on the 15th marketing strategy, not on the mentorship, not on the coaching, there. You start with the one thing that makes you discoverable. And that is why I care so much about Google visibility. When someone actually needs a new hairstylist, they don't always go scroll Instagram first. A lot of them just open up Google, then they type what they need. Hair color near me, hairstylist near me, highlights near me, whatever they're looking for, whatever their search intent is. That person is not casually browsing. That person is actively looking. And if your business doesn't show up, you are invisible to them. And that does not mean, though, that you're not talented. It has nothing to do with your work. And that doesn't mean that your work isn't. It means that your business is not structured online in a way that gives you the best chance of being found. That is a very different problem. And it is an important distinction because most stylists take invisibility personally. They think their bookings are slow because they're not posting enough, they're not charismatic enough, they don't say the right things, they're not trendy enough, they're not extroverted enough, they're not doing enough. That is not the real issue. A lot of time, the real issue is that the foundation is weak. And a lot of times, if the foundation is weak, the stack that we were just talking about, it just won't hold well, or it will be amplified with the amount of work you have to do. You're going to have to work so much harder than you would if people could just find you online. If people could just find you online, and you add that stuff, it's more like a bonus, right? So it's like every business needs an anchor, and an anchor is a steady stream of new clients. So that is what you need. Everything else is going to stack. And that's why your Google business profile, the optimization of it, needs to come first. Now, let me be really, really clear about something else. I'm not saying that this business takes no effort. It does take a lot of effort. It takes time for you to work on your business. It takes consistency. It takes maintenance. There's a difference in building a strong foundation and living in a state of constant marketing. These are two different things. And I don't believe that most independent beauty professionals should have to spend hours and hours and hours every single week trying to market themselves in 10 different directions just to stay afloat. I don't believe you should have to feel like a full-time content creator to stay booked. And I don't believe that every stylist needs to operate like a big brand or a big salon. If you're a large salon, if you're trying to scale aggressively, if you have to build up a multiple stylists, a huge company, if you want to dominate multiple channels, then yes, you may absolutely have to go big. You'll want to add all these stackings. You'll want to add the paid ads and the funnel strategies and the heavy Instagram, the advanced branding, the email systems, the layered referral systems, the SEO support, the automation, all of it. But that is a different conversation because right now I'm really talking to independent beauty professionals. The independent beauty professional who is trying to build a strong, steady clientele, there should be a foundational system in place that works for you without demanding your life. This is the point. You should be able to build something that helps people find you and then maintain it with a reasonable amount of weekly attention. Not no attention, because it's not magic. It's not overnight either. A reasonable amount of attention. And that's the part that makes it so important. Because once your online presence is cleaned up and it's strengthened and it's maintained, you're no longer depending entirely on hustle-based marketing. You are creating discoverability, you are creating visibility, and you are giving your business the chance to show up when people are already looking. And that changes the game. So part of the reason stylists are not being taught this clearly is because this has traditionally been the territory of marketing agencies. This is their lane. This is what they do. And it's not because because it's their lane, it often gets wrapped in mystery. It gets dressed up in jargon. It gets made to sound technical and intimidating and complicated. And if you're trying to market nationally, it most certainly is all of those things. But we're talking here about local search, ranking number 1 or at least number 2 on a local search in Google. And depending where you live, it doesn't even necessarily need to be miles and miles out for you to get the results that you want. But listen, like I said, some of this can get more advanced. Of course it can. Like I said, these principles, you can apply them more aggressively to have a wider range, more miles. It just depends on where you're at. But a lot of hairdressers, they don't even understand what this is. They don't really even know where to begin. And this is the problem. If they can't evaluate it, they either ignore it or they assume it's too hard. And then they stay stuck. Or they assume the only option is to hire an agency. And hiring an SEO agency may be the right decision for some people. I'm not against it. Not at all. I did it. And it worked. And then I realized what they were doing and I'm paying them all this money and there's no reason for it. But like I said, for some business owners, this is absolutely the right move for you. And I hope that you hear me on that because a lot of people don't even know what kind of marketing they should do. So some people just need someone to make it make sense and just show them where to begin. And this is one of the reasons where I care so much about teaching this because I don't believe hairstylists and service providers should be locked out of understanding how this works just because the SEO marketing agency has made it sound so mysterious. And I also think that this is one of the reasons that my course is different. Cracking the Client Code is built around the idea that there is a code to building a clientele and it can be understood. It does not have to stay mysterious. It does not have to stay hidden behind agency language. It doesn't have to feel like this big, impossible thing that only marketing people can understand. You can learn it. You can fix it. You can improve it. And once you do, it gives you a much stronger point for everything else. That is another important thing I want to say. My course is evolving. I'm going to be teaching more. A lot of it matters and a lot of it absolutely has a place for building a beautiful business. But what I'm teaching, Google Business Page Optimization, no one is teaching this for stylists. The only people who teach this are SEO marketers. And a lot of that just gets bypassed by the independent beauty professional that are not even tapped into that market. But I want to get back to what I was talking about. I want to be very honest with you. There is a difference between what works and what comes first. This is the key. A referral system can be wonderful. Instagram can be so powerful and funnels can be a gold mine. Branding matters. Content matters, networking matters, ads matter, coaching and mentorship, all that matters. But if you're not sure where to start, if you are trying to decide what to invest in and you are overwhelmed by all the advice online, I want to make this simple for you. Start here, right here. Start with your foundation. Start with being found online. Start with getting your Google business profile and your broader online presence working for you in your favor. So in Cracking the Client Code, in the first part of it, we teach Google business page optimization. We teach how to keep your Google business page optimized on a regular basis, how to give it a real punch. Talk to you about how you can use your Google business page to go after your dream client. We go into how to make sure that you don't realize that you're making all kinds of mistakes. We go in there and we clean that up. That's called NAP consistency. We want to make sure that across the internet that you're not confusing the search engines. And then we're going to get in and expanding that search online into Apple and Bing and of course AI discovery. And then after that, what's expanding is all the different ways that you can reach clients online and offline. So right now with Cracking the Client Code, you are just learning, you're going to get started with your basics. And then if you purchase the course, then you will be grandfathered in as I continue with the course, going into all these other things that I have prepared for you. But like I said, we got to start with the thing that helps people discover you when they're already searching. Then once all of this is working, once that is maintained, once your foundation is stronger, that's when you stack it. That's when you add the layers. That is where Instagram can work better and easier. That is when a referral strategy works on top of something solid. That is where you can get more aggressive if you choose to. That is where you can build the business of your dreams in a more layered and a more intentional way. But if you skip the foundation and you go straight into stacking, trust me when I tell you that you are working harder than you need to. You are building uphill. And because a lot of stylists are exhausted because this is exactly what they're doing, and let's not play around with the fact that what we do is hard work. But a lot of times stylists and service providers are just trying to build on top of something that's very unstable. So it just makes more work. So if you're listening to educators, marketers, coaches, course creators, ask yourself this one question. Who are they talking to? Are they talking to a salon owner trying to scale a team? Are they talking to someone trying to be a high-level content brand? Are they talking to a larger business with more resources, more time, more capacity, more money? Or are they talking to the independent beauty professional who needs a clear, practical place to begin? Because they are not all the same person. This is relevant to salon owners, but this is relevant to salon owners too, because the foundation matters for them as well. I'm definitely not excluding them for this, not at all. But I am saying that the bigger the business you want to build, the more layers you will have to eventually choose to add. But this is a starting point. This is still the base, no matter what your business is. Any business that's trying to build a clientele, a plumber, any business needs to do this. And this is where you begin. And if you don't know where to start, or you don't know what is broken, or you don't know why your business is not being found, I have created that ChatGPT online client attraction audit. Because before you fix anything, you need to see what is going on. You need to know what search platforms may be seeing when they look at your business. You need to know what may be preventing you from showing up. You need to understand the foundation before you start stacking all the other pieces on it. So if you're overwhelmed by all the noise out there, if you're tired of hearing 10 different strategies and half of them are so slow in working, if you're trying to figure out who to listen to and what to do first, I want to make this as clear as I can. There are a lot of good methods out there. There are a lot of smart educators out there. There are a lot of useful strategies out there. But if your online foundation is weak, they are not going to work as well as they could. So start here. Build your foundation. Get found on Google. Get ranked on the first page of Google. Strengthen your online presence. Then stack everything else on top of that. That is where I would start, and that is what I teach, and that's why this is called Cracking the Client Code. I am teaching you SEO marketing in a way that's digestible and can easily be understood in local search. I can't stress that enough. In local search. And no one is teaching this to you guys. I've looked. I really have. And you'll find educators out there all the time that say maximize your Google business page. Okay, well or create your Google business page. But what I'm talking about is Google business page optimization, online optimization of your website, online optimization on Apple, online optimization on Bing. All these things need to work together for AI optimization, which is really important. But you will never have AI pick you up if you don't first have these other things optimized. It will absolutely 100% never happen. So AI optimization picks up language differently though than a normal search. It isn't the same, but what I teach in Google Business Page Optimization, I've tailored it to AI optimization, meaning when you make your posts and when you add your description, you're going to write them in a way that not only Google understands, but AI does too. So AI likes things to be told as a story. AI likes to know who, where, what, when, why. That's what they need to know. And that's what I'm going to teach you. And it's not reserved for people with huge teams or giant budgets. There is a code to becoming easier to find. There actually is a code to becoming easier to find, easier to trust, and easier to book. And once you understand the order, the whole thing starts making a lot more sense. So grab your ChatGPT online client attraction audit. The link is below. Go check it out. Run it through ChatGPT, and within minutes, you're going to find out what could be possibly holding your business back online, and so that you can fix it. I also have the links provided for my course, Cracking the Client Code. I have some other options. I just want to tell you a little bit about my course pricing. It's $185. And if you purchase it now, you will be grandfathered in because it's expanding. I've already written it, but I haven't, it's not completely ready. And I'm fine with that because I want my students, the people who are learning from me, to start here and then, like we've talked about, stack up. But once the course is complete, it's going to be a lot more money. And if you buy it now, you'll be grandfathered in. But then I have two other options. The other option I have is not the complete Google business page optimization. It's called Google Fix-It Kit, but it does help you go and fix some of the things that are most important. It doesn't go into the same details that I go into in the course, but it's kind of like a little cleanup. And then with it, I have the Apple Maps and the Bing expansion. So that's called Dual Engines. And then if there's one more option after that, for $27, you can get the Google Fix-It Kit, which is part of the Dual Engines. And here's the thing, that any money that you spend on the Fix-It Kit or the Dual Engines, you'll get a coupon. You can use that coupon for Cracking the Client Code as well. And even easier to digest, you can split the payment of Cracking the Client Code into 2 payments of $100. So go ahead and get started with this. This is the time. This is the time to do it. I don't, it's that hard. It's just that it takes time. You have to do the work. Everything in Cracking the Client Code is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So you just want to start with one thing, and then you're going to move on to the next thing. And then once you've completed all this, then you're going to maintain it, which is not going to take you a lot of time, like a few minutes every week to maintain it. And then you will start, not slowly, but you will start going up in the rankings. You'll get higher and higher and higher up in the Google rankings. And the beauty of this, as you get higher in the rankings, more people see you. The more people see you, the more people click on you. They look at your website, they look at your Instagram, they book an appointment, they call you. Once Google sees all of this, you keep going up higher in the ranking, because what Google wants to see is activity on your Google business page. So that's why you have to be active on your Google business page. But once you get your Google business page to a point where people are seeing it, then their activity is on the Google business page. And then the second thing, that's the most important thing, more important than anything, is reviews. And if you want to go on a review campaign, let me tell you, Google has changed things. They don't want just tons of reviews. They want consistent reviews. So let's say you haven't been going after reviews. And so you could think off the top of your head, 25 people that could give you a review. Don't ask them all at once. I would write their names down, and every week I would reach out to one of them. If it starts happening too fast, maybe I would even back it up a little bit to like maybe once a month, because I went on a review campaign and I find out that Google wants a steady stream, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be a little harder for me to get reviews, because it will affect your ranking. If you don't have consistent reviews, it will affect your ranking. So I want you to keep in mind that in Cracking the Client Code, I give you so many ways to get reviews, and I want you to take advantage of all those ways that you can get reviews. But just keep in mind that Google wants consistent reviews. And the other thing about reviews that I want to touch on is that, well, if you don't have a lot of reviews, you may want to pump a certain amount out there, because Google does look at how many you have. But when you have people that show up on your when you have people who show up on your Google business page, they need to see social proof. And then you want to put those reviews on your Instagram, because people need to see social proof. So that's important. It doesn't really help you that much if people can find you on your Google business page and you only have 2 reviews. Or God forbid you got a bad review, and so it's bringing your rating way down. If you got a bad review, you want to get even more 5-star reviews so you can counter your 5-star rating. Make sure that it's at least a 4, right? So you can do this. I know you can. I've helped many people do this. I'm really excited about this direction, about teaching, because I love to see people succeed. And, I have something to give back to my business. This business has been very good to me. I've enjoyed being a hairdresser for the last 33 years. One day I will retire from it, and I really wanted to give back to my industry before I did. So that's what started this for me. I think of all you out there who are struggling or feeling insecure or feeling like you don't know if this business is right for you because of not having a steady flow of clientele, or getting on Instagram and seeing that it looks like everybody is better than you when they're not. It's just like anything. People put their best stuff out there. They don't show their mistakes. But you can do this. This will help you with your confidence. This will help you with your income, and make sure that you are putting investment into your education. So if you are struggling in some areas in your business, maybe you need some help with color formulations or highlighting or hair cutting, make sure that you are taking the time to invest into your education. Because if you do all this work to get people to come into you and your work is not up to par, then you'll get new clients, but you're not going to keep them. Before I leave, I do want to talk about client retention, just so you have a clear expectation of what client retention is. And I don't have the statistics right in front of me right now, but I want to say it's 30%. It's not high. It's not high, because there's a good percentage of people who are just impulsive shoppers. But trying to get somebody who is loyal and sticks with you. So as these clients start rolling in, don't be so hard on yourself that you think, oh, I'm doing something wrong if every single one of them don't come back to you. It's important for you to analyze your work and make sure that, it's not something that you're doing. Of course it is. But just know what the statistics are. And you should also keep track of that. Keep track of that, because you want to find out what the industry standard is and make sure that you're not below it. So like I said, I can't remember, but let's say it's 40%, and I don't think it's that high, and you're at 15%, then you need to really take a good look at what you're doing. You want to have a lot of pictures on your Google business page. You really want to have that social proof out there when they find you. So I know you're going to do great. I know you're going to get those clients that you want. You're going to be booked and busy. You're going to be able to scale your business. Eventually, you can start raising your prices and making more money, and then eventually down the road you can start working less hours. It all just builds. Oh, I know what I wanted to say. During all of this process of building your clientele online, you want to be very cognizant of referrals, because referrals are the best clients. They are the best. I don't know what else to say. So, referred people are your golden ticket clients. So keep in mind, as you're trying to build your client, remember that you want to have a referral system, and you want to be working on that. Okay. All right. So I know you're going to do great. Get the course, get working, get started. If it's a little bit too much money for you, at least get started with the dual engines, and then that money can come off cracking the client code. And if you do it, I don't know when the rest of the course is going to be coming out, but if the rest of the course hasn't come out yet and the course is still $185, then you'll get that $67 taken off the $185, which approximately makes it $120, something like that. 130. No, 120. It comes off the 185. Then you will also be grandfathered in, because when the whole course is done, I believe I'm going to be selling it for around $400. So if you end up buying the 67 and then getting it for the 125, and then you're going to get that full course. I want you to have all the tools in your toolbox. After 33 years of doing hair, my toolbox it's impressive. I've had to start over way too many times, moving out of state, having a baby, had some health problems. The salon I worked at unexpectedly closed. And then after everything is back to normal and I'm doing great, I end up in the hospital for a month. Completely I disappeared off the radar. And then when I came back to work, I could only work a little tiny bit. And that lasted for several months too. Oh, it's just but that's life. That's life. And I know a lot of people that are in this business, when life knocks them down, they tend to go into a different direction. It's very common. The longevity rate of hairdressers is actually quite low. I think it's like 10 years, but it doesn't have to be. And for me, it wasn't an option. It's going to be an option in the future because, it takes a toll on your body, no doubt. But for me, it wasn't an option because I love doing hair and I don't love doing other things. I don't know if it's my ADD or my creative, just the way I am. I love doing hair. And when I looked at like the things that I could do that I really wouldn't want to do, the amount of hours I would have to work to make the same amount of money, but usually less, it just was never worth it. So every time I thought about it, I was like, no, I just have to work on my business, and that's the bottom line. So you just need to work on your business and